Hey, what's going on? SneakerTube.tv, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, everyone. Excuse me. It's your man Air Jordan 14. Back with a new video. Know I've been out for a little while, but it's good to be back with a new video here. And today's video is another performance review. I've been testing out some different shoes, and I'm back to let you know how it went. So today's shoe is the Nike Air Alphaloution here. I'll hold them up for you. It's in the black, blue, and red colorway there, and it's one of the mashup shoes, combination of the Air Revolution and the Air Alpha Force, which our friend Charles Barkley made famous. I believe it was back in '87. But it is a mashup, kind of updated. The Zoom Air here in the heel, which of course, you know, when both the Revolution and the Alpha Force came out, of course Zoom Air wasn't around. So you had the Nike Air in the heel in both of those. Excuse me. So it's kind of, you know, updated materials, like I said. Of course, Phylon midsole. And I kind of got into some of this on the review. You've got the swoosh here on the right shoe, and then the big old school Nike block logo on the left shoe. But getting into the review, as always, like I said, I always start with the inner of the shoe, because like I said, it doesn't matter. The shoe can have the best support, traction, cushioning, and all that, but the fact of the matter is, if it hurts your foot just to put it on, or there's something wrong in the inner that makes the shoe uncomfortable, well, all that's a moot point. So hopefully you can see around the sock liner, which is this blue area. It's a very smooth, almost elastic type of cloth there that feels smooth to the touch. Feels really good. Then the backing of the mesh panels that are here on the both the medial and the lateral sides here. You've got the backing of that mesh, and then you've got the back of the tongue here, which is the red portion that you see, and that's lined with the same smooth material. When I first got them, there were a few areas that I was kind of concerned about, and I don't know if you can see right there, okay, where the stitching for this loop on the tongue here, it felt kind of hard here, and there's a cross stitch, and I was concerned that that could cause some problems. And I was glad to say, once I put them on, is there, from the inner standpoint, there were no raised seams or anything like that that caused me any type of discomfort. It was a very comfortable shoe from that standpoint. So all of my fears about that were quickly dispelled. Kind of staying in the lower part of the shoe, let's just jump right into the cushioning here. Of course, this is the maximum volume Zoom Air, so it's got the biggest Zoom Air bag that Nike has, and I can tell you, in the heel, you definitely notice it. It's definitely perceptible just putting the shoe on for casual wear, and you even notice it once you get on the court. And of course, the Zoom Air, as always, is a very active, responsive cushioning system, and you can definitely feel the cush in the shoe. Cush. But it feels really, really good when you're on the court, and even when you're casual. So in the heel, it does a great job, as does Phylon midsole here. I would have liked, a little more. There's nothing in the, as far as Zoom Air in the forefoot. While it doesn't hurt or anything like that, it just kind of feels dead. Would have liked to have a little more cushioning in the forefoot. Well, it certainly wasn't painful. You know, if you're a heel striker, and when you're transitioning from the heel to the forefoot, you definitely will notice a difference as you transition from here in the zoom to just the phylon here in the midfoot, the forefoot rather. Nonetheless, with that being said, the cushioning on the shoe is very good, and I didn't experience any pain, in my feet or anything like that. The ride was pretty good from that standpoint. Sliding back up toward the upper here. Now, as you can see, you've got a couple different materials here. Of course, you've got the leather here on the toe box and kind of extending up over your instep here and even wrapping around the heel. Then you've got nubuck here that extends all the way around in a rand here. And then you've got the mesh here as discussed earlier. And all work together as far as providing a pretty good fit. And this kind of touched so on the inner here. This in combination with the strap, which is the most prominent feature on the shoe taken from the Alpha Force there, does a pretty good job of holding your foot in. Didn't experience any real movement inside the shoe and everything, particularly at the forefoot where the strap is. Once you really strap it down, the fit, while pretty good, is not, I would say, is not as good as something like maybe a Hyperdunk or even the Jordan 2010, and of course the Kobe 6, something that I thought had a lockdown fit, or the Kobe 5. It's still very good, and I didn't experience any movements within the shoe. The strap helps to keep your foot rather, from sliding around on the footbed. So the fit was, it was pretty good. So, not bad from that standpoint. Moving down to the bottom here, I don't know if you can see this faceted outsole here. Of course, you've got a slightly modified herringbone traction here, the traditional right here on the medial side of the heel, and then you've got this area here. Almost reminds me of the treads on a tire, is what that, when I think about, when I look at that. Traction on these is not too bad. I wasn't slipping and sliding all over the place in these. Surprisingly, the multi-faceted traction does a good enough job of stopping and starting, and I didn't experience any real slip, when I'm making cuts, or even, trying to play some D every now and then. So it definitely does a respectable job in that area. And I suspect the court I was playing on was pretty good, but I suspect it would still do an admirable job even on a less than pristine court. So if that's a concern, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised about that. Support on the shoe that is once again fairly good. The cut of the shoe, of course, this is a mid. And though I said the heel counter right here, which is this hard piece right here, the fit is good enough to keep your ankle fairly locked down, and I think in conjunction, with the forefoot strap, does a pretty decent job. I didn't, roll my ankle or anything on cuts or anything like that in these, and I wasn't. It never gave me an indication that it was prone to tip over or anything like that. Making the hardest of cuts or coming off screens or just doing all the things that you do in the course of a basketball game. So it's definitely respectable in that area as well. So, and then I'm just gonna finish up as far as heat buildup, because it's got, though the tongue here is mesh, it's got that same material behind it. but then you've got the panel here, here, and here. So in terms of the heat buildup, wasn't excessive in the shoe. The side panels do a fair job of you know, dissipating the heat buildup inside the shoe, and I didn't notice any excessive heat as far as once I actually took them off. So pretty decent job on that. You know, in essence, this is a shoe that is kind of, it's a steady performer. I think that's the best way to describe it. It does a lot of, it doesn't do anything horribly. It's not going to perhaps blow you away, but it's a steady performer. Does everything, you know, fairly well. And if perhaps if there's a outlet or you know, one of the big box stores in your area, you probably can pick these up on sale at a really good price, and it's definitely a more than respectable on the court performance. So the weight, it's not that heavy. I should have measured these before I did this video, but I can tell you it's a pretty not that heavy of a shoe actually. So if that's concerned, you don't have to worry about that. If you like a shoe that, of course, is more of an extension of your foot, you may want to go with something else, or if you prefer a little more action as far as cushioning at the forefoot, you may want to look at other things. But if you're just looking for a steady performer to play some ball in, this would be a solid choice if you can track it down, and you can probably still get it at a very decent price. So going to go ahead and close the lid on this review. Want to again thank everybody who's been watching and commenting on the videos and everything like that. I really appreciate you taking the time to do so, and it's much appreciated, and just much respect for everyone that's been doing that. So I'll be back with the latest volume of collection videos. I know I said that the past two videos, but I've been moving some stuff around here, and so excuse me, kind of got a little behind, but that is coming, I can assure you, very soon. So again, I appreciate everyone who's been watching the videos. Thank you again, and this is Air Jordan 14 signing off. With you many blessings and prosperity, and I'll see you all later.